Hey folks, so today I just wanted to show you we rely heavily on Hasura with the Chewy stack. And we've been trying setting things up on GitPod, these cloud-hosted dev environments. And cloud-hosted IDEs are really interesting. It's, I think, really interesting to consider the IDE as something that shouldn't be part of a physical machine, but just an ephemeral workspace that you spin up or shut down based off of the project that you're working on. Now, I think there's a lot of advantages to treating sort of your IDE or your coding environment rather as an ephemeral space in the cloud. I think it's cool because you can like keep your configurations consistent across a team, but there's also something to be said about sort of enabling developers who don't have a powerful machine, which for small companies like ours, that's really practical to not have to, drop $5,000 on a machine to send to a developer and get them up and running. I think there's a lot of power in that in environments like GitPod and other ones. There are a few other cloud-based IDEs out there, or cloud workspaces, depending on how you wanna frame it. But with those kinds of tools, you run into certain challenges, which makes sense. A lot of the tools that are out there aren't adapted to these cloud-based environments. Now, Hasura is one of those tools. It's fantastic. It makes it so easy to create a GraphQL API on top of a Postgres database, and I think there's so much value in creating something on top of a more traditional database like Postgres, because there's this massive ecosystem of other tools that play nice already with those types of databases. I believe it's valuable to explore new ways of doing things, but there's also a lot of value in the maturity of the tools around a platform. But when these two things collide, like using Hasura with Postgres in these web-based environments, you run into issues. With Hasura, the main issue is that they have this fantastic system where you can manage a database. You can create new tables, you can define relationships through their GUI, and they make it very easy. But that GUI, if you want to create migrations, so if you want to create a table, for example, or drop a table or add a column, you want that to live in migration so that you can share that across your team. But their CLI, which launches the GUI, basically depends on a few things. Now, if I were to run, I'm just going to run docker compose down because I have this up and running right now. But if I were to run docker compose up to GraphQL, so this will get my Hasura server up and running. And I have the Hasura CLI already installed. So if I cd into GraphQL, where I have my configuration, I'm just going to switch that up. Let's use endpoint. Yep, that's what we want. So you can see, if I click on my ports here, you can see port 5000, that's the one I've defined for Hasura. And I've disabled the console in the server itself. So this is a good sign that things are up and running. So if I do Hasura console and that endpoint, so now if I go to my ports, I will see 9695. That's where the console lives, and 9693, and that's the sort of the API that it spins up to manage like the creation of migration files and stuff like that. So if I go here, you'll see that it won't work. And the reason that it won't work, Hasura console is not able to reach your Hasura CLI. So we can dig into this. I'll refresh that with the DevTools open, and we'll see that there's a request that fails. So this is the request. Yeah, basically it's looking for localhost 9693. Now, what I can do to kind of make that work is I can run basically this command. I'm going to run into a problem here though, which is that if I try to run that, whoops, actually I don't want Hasura. Yeah, okay, no, not that command, sorry. I'm going to run this command. So this one, technically we have 9693 up and running. Now if I try to run the other one, I'm going to run into a problem. Let's see. And by the other one, I mean, yeah, like this command. Okay, so I'm going to try and run that. So Hasura console, well, not exactly this command, but API host. Let's do this. And API port 443 and endpoint. If I try running that, it's going to say it's got an issue there. And then I'll try to run the console again. (9693). So now I run into these CORS issues. And I haven't quite figured out why the CORS issues exist, but what I decided I would try is, rather than have it listening directly, is to proxy requests through traffic and direct them back to 9693. Now that got a little complicated if I wanted to do it on localhost, and there are just a bunch of things that weren't going quite right. So what I figured out is basically running the API, the CLI API, in one container, running the CLI console in another container, and you have to, there are a bunch of issues with like running the CLI in containers, but essentially you have to add the address here, so to have it listen on that sort of host, which should match with your service name. And so you do that with both. Once you've got that ready, so you can see we pass requests from those these exposed ports technically, do we need to do that? Actually, that was from a previous thing that I tried. That is, oh no, we do need to do that. The reason we need to do that, so we have to expose these ports because in these cloud environments, each service basically needs to run on its own port. Like you can't map the host. You can't change the URLs with GitPod. There are other cloud-based IDEs that you can do that with. With GitPod, the only way to do it, as I understand it, still pretty new to GitPod, but is to expose a new port. So basically, we say expose port 9693. Here we'll say that 9693 dash our GitPod URL is the host we're listening for as a rule for the traffic router. And so that request will come in and get routed here, and it'll come through to the Hasura CLI. So we do that with 9693 and 9695. I'm not sure. There might be a way to automate this, like define that in the service, which might make more sense. We'd have to expose no, because then we would expose this. Now I think the only way is this way, because we need to expose that port for traffic specifically. But yeah, so that'll give us a new host based off of that port. And yeah, basically that makes it work. We can see in our GitPod file, we've exposed port 5000 and port 9693 sort of explicitly through the ports list here. And we make both of them public. The reason for that is that the console, when it launches, will it does some stuff. It tries to access this port. I think from the container, and because GitPod manages its own sort of authentication proxy for these ports that you mark as private. For that to work, you have to go through the browser, and so it fails. It says that that's not accessible. Same thing happens for 9693. We run into a CORS issue if it's not public. So yeah, basically that's how this works. So with this with this repo, if you just go, I forget, how does GitPod work? Just open that. I'll just open a new one. I think that's a new one, right? And then, yeah, so it opens a new workspace. So it'll run this pre-build, or load the pre-build, which is defined by that GitPod .yaml. And in a few seconds here, no, I do not want to open it. You'll see it gets everything up and running. And basically, right off the bat, we get Hasura with the console run from the CLI. So I could go in and say, create a new table called users with an ID, created at, dated at, username, text, sure, add table. Let's add add new column, user ID UID. Nullable, sure. Save. Add a foreign key. Oops, yeah. Users. Oh, user ID goes to ID. And I don't know, let's cascade. Cool. Alrighty, so now in theory, we should be able to insert a user. No, let's not make it a migration. And now I should be able to assign that user to my posts. Ah, shoot. Yeah, forgot that. I gotta just copy that. User ID, save. Alrighty. So now I should be able to get a user or all users with, ooh, no, we haven't tracked the relationship. Sorry, just gonna do that real fast. Track all, cool, users, posts, title. Sweet, so there it is. And more importantly, if I go in here, we'll see that we've got our migrations, our metadata. So defining those relationships. So git status and git commit add users table. Alrighty, so now in here we should have our users table. There it is. And yeah, so we've got Hasura CLI working in GitPod so we can do our migrations and manage our metadata nice and easy. Thanks for watching, and yeah, click that like and subscribe, all of that business that all the YouTubers like to say. All right, see ya.